Welcome everybody to the 5th episode of the Next Question Please podcast. Unfortunately tonight we're missing Wolfmeister, but we have a replacement here. Hopefully he sticks around this time.
What's up?
We got Mr. Willie here.
Willie P.
Of course, I'm Midas Mill.
Sai.
Let's get it. All right, how's everyone doing tonight?
You should be called shirtless Sai, as I have said before.
No, I'm telling you, YouTube guidelines prohibit me from that. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, man. It's been a good time, huh?
Yeah.
Well, supporting the
podcast.
Supporting the shirtless community as well.
Okay, anyways.
let's move past that before he gets on this, puts his mind on.
We don't need to talk about cards again.
Okay, so since we're missing Tyler because he's simping, I think it's only right that we talk about
simping.
Will simping.
Oh,
Me simping?
Yes, because that's a good question. But
yeah, exactly.
But okay, I've come to the realization, right? Here we go. Yeah, Sai doesn't like my realizations because he's a cunt. But
True.
But
it's also because he's right.
The realization I've come to is that I do enjoy the chase.
Really?
Fuck, I know. But here's why, right?
Yeah, my reaction.
I fucking hate the chase, dude.
I also do like it.
Hate it.
I was very adamant that I hated the chase until about a week ago, right? This is why.
Why? Because you're still chasing that one chick?
Facts. But this is why, right? So it was like, women are so confusing.
True.
Very confusing.
And so I know that I like the chase because I find myself more intrigued with the women, this particular woman who is being very distant and discreet, right?
And by distant, we're talking about
Days.
Russia.
Easily days, right? But the problem is the reason my chase has very circumstantial reasoning behind it, right? So I'm not going to chase unless at some point in time, particularly in the beginning of talking to whoever I'm talking to, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to chase unless they show interest or some kind of interest, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if I can gauge that there's some interest there, then it's game on. But it's fucking frustrating as fuck because I hate myself for enjoying this.
No, I'm not gonna.
But I'm not enjoying the experience of chasing. But it's like I know I'm more interested because it's that much harder to obtain. You know, if that makes sense. So how do you feel about that?
You can't have what you can't have. And that's the point.
It's not enjoyable unless you get that. It doesn't make it more satisfying. It makes it more frustrating, in my opinion.
Well, they say it's all about the journey and not about the result.
Shut the fuck up with that bullshit. It's all about the result. What are you talking
I mean,
about?
you're not wrong, but at the same time, you build
If the result is shit, then what was the fucking point of the journey in the first place? You know
what does shit mean? What does a shit result mean?
Well,
just getting straight up
ghosted, yeah, more or less. I mean, I've had my fair share of that. I just fucking move on and I don't think about it because it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
You can't get ghosted if you don't talk to women.
Facts.
0 divided by 0 is infinity.
Shut the fuck up. Seriously. I hate you.
But really though, so do you don't chase women at all? So it's be completely honest. The last woman you were interested in, do you feel like you chased her?
No.
Okay.
I let them chase me because it's a lot easier. I'm not gonna lie. If a girl chases you, you know she's interested in you, so you can fucking it's a lot easier and it's a lot more satisfying.
I'll reverse the question. Have girls chase you and you're just being that person that wants her to try harder?
No.
I do not want her to try harder. Like,
But have you experienced that? Is what I'm saying.
Well,
Have
like-
you been the chasee
Well, I guess it's
than the chaser?
I guess it's different for guys, but
Right,
correct me if
what-
I'm wrong. Like, if a girl's chasing you, like, because I think the whole like ideology behind it is that girls want to be chased. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like
they definitely do
but it's
not want to
like
be chased.
it's
That's
like
all I'm gonna say.
they're not going to lead the chase on if they're not interested in the guy. But like on the contrary, for guys, is like if a girl that they're interested in shows interest in them first, it's like we jump right on that. We're not going to be like, I'm just going to let her sit there for a second and see, you know, like I see like if she tries harder, because we're like, okay, I think she's cool, I think she's interested. Like I'm gonna jump, like so it's different for us. So it's like, how do you?
Oh, I think I understand your question a little bit better now.
Because like men are just straightforward or blunt people.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to your point, why do you think girls do not like to be chased?
Well, like a lot of the time, it's just they're usually getting chased by the wrong guys, and a lot of these guys just literally have no idea how to take a hint. Like, you know what I mean?
So you're saying like guys chase women.
And I have no idea.
So you're saying like at multiple times women just have multiple guys chasing them, and there's only a fraction of those guys that they're actually interested in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a numbers game.
It definitely is a numbers game, dude. Like it makes absolutely no sense to say that women want to be chased.
How do you feel about chasing?
Chasing's a waste of time, honestly. It's just a bunch of games. I do not like playing games like that.
Okay, what I will say about chasing is that you want to chase this person. I mean, she fits every criteria, you know, let's just say she's so as males, our first objective is she good looking, right? So she fits that.
Yeah.
Does she like the same activities as you? Does she have like the same political views? It doesn't have to be that, but some people, well, I'm generalizing here, they like the same political views, or, you know, they want like to have kids, or, you know, they want to, you know, they like the same movies as you or something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever your criteria is, they check all the boxes is what I'm trying to say. So based off of that, you kind of like go off of that. And this is after you got her Snapchat or whatever. We're talking out of Snapchat, or once you got her number, or are we talking about
Just in general.
approaching and then
like
chasing from the actual beginning?
Yeah, so like approaching her and like either you're very interested in her and then you're trying to gauge that interest, and so she's like throwing bones, or, you know, it's like so from jump, basically from jump. So like from approaching onward, chasing.
So I'm at the coffee shop. This girl somehow fits my criteria, and then off the bat, that's when we're starting.
I wouldn't consider that chasing, but I would just consider like so what I would consider chasing is
Like, when does the chasing actually start? What's the genesis of chasing?
what I would say is like
Honestly,
once you exchange information and then
So you have some form of contact.
some form of contact.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because like approaching women is completely different than chasing. Because you're not really chasing them. You're more like trying to get your foot in the door.
and honestly, like, I'm gonna be completely honest. I might have no idea when a girl wants me to chase her. That's why I don't chase.
That's
'Cause
That's fair.
I have no clue. Well, like, I have autism, so like it's a lot harder for me.
Well, no,
But, like, in general,
I don't
it's
even
hard.
think
It's not even an autism
Yeah,
thing.
because I think it's very hard for guys to like.
Even if you're a normal dude, like it's hard to play these games, or like, you know, like try to find this right signals, or like,
It's just fucking legend.
I mean, people tell me I have terrible social cues, but at the same time, like, I don't know if you're interested. How am I supposed to know exactly?
Yeah, like, love is definitely, or like even chasing is just a really hard game to play.
And also, like, you can obviously have something good for like a little bit. I'm talking about maybe like 2 or 3 days, but at the end, then it goes back to like one word text, or like you're not really responding kind of weirdly or whatever. And it's just like, well, now what, right?
That's just when I fucking move on, dude.
I mean, the majority of people would obviously agree with you. I would agree with you on that too.
Yeah. So,
But at the same time, you don't know, like, there's another side to it where you're just like, well, I want this guy to try harder. you know.
Right.
And then women say that.
They say
it's
they want that.
Yeah, so many women say like, oh well, if you had just like tried harder, like they're talking about a situation like, yeah, sometimes women just do this so that the guy tries harder, and it's like, how do we know?
Like you know,
Yeah.
like there's like cut and dry where like if you text if you text 3 times in 3 days and she doesn't respond, probably take the hint, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But there's that like opening where like, oh, she asks you about your day, but
Right, like she throws you a bone every so often, even though it's like super sporadic when she texts you or like messages you. It's like hours, days, and then it's like, oh well, like how are you doing today? Like blah 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 blah, and it's like she just goes into the story that she seems like she's showing interest, and you're like, oh, is she interested? Like, is this a chasing situation? Do I back out because communication is just that fucking shit and sporadic? It's like, how can we distinguish the differences?
But to be honest, you want a girl who will want to talk to you. Like if a girl is actually interested in you, she'll want to talk to you every day. You know what I mean?
Well,
like she won't be like sporadic. Like if she's sporadic, she might like be a little interested. You might think you're hot, but like she doesn't like care.
Right?
Well,
that's my opinion.
I think it all depends on the girl that you're trying to chase, because some girls, and this also is generalized for men, are more high valued than other girls based off of how they look, based off like how smart they are, based on what they do as activities. Like let's just say you have a 3.7 GPA, you know, you do sports and stuff, and you're going to med school or something. That girl is going to be more high valued than someone that's not really doing that, that's not to that. And if you're chasing that, then you have to expect that there's going to be guys like you who's probably smart, doing some similar, the same thing, like sports and, you know, chilling with the boys or whatever. And there's probably 20 other guys that are probably, it's like a race, you know, who's going to overtake what. And the girl is trying to, like the Bachelorette, trying to see what connections are most meaningful. So the trick is, now I'm not saying I know all this shit. I'm just saying like you have to do whatever you can to make that connection, or more of a connection than other guys. And I think in this day and age, with how our generation and even the generation previous to us and the generation that's younger to us, they want instant feedback. They want something like how you're saying, like, you know, you just want a girl that's interested in you. But the point is, it's not like that.
I don't want her to be like clingy, like messaging me like every freaking minute of the day. That's fucking annoying. Honestly.
No, that's completely different. But we're talking about the chase, exactly. And in your point, you want a girl that's kind of like, you're kind of already, you don't need to really chase. You kind of are already there.
You kind of want her to be upfront, like, hey, I'm interested in
you. Like you're
yes.
like you're in a race
Dear
where
God.
you're in a race that's only just you in it, rather than a race where there's 20 people there.
Now I would love that, but for me,
every guy wants that.
Yeah, but it's not realistic in our society. You know what I mean? So it's like
girls are like that.
We're forced to play the wandering game. And then at certain times, you feel like you need to chase. And so it's like, I'm getting absorbed into that aspect of our society. And it's like, okay, maybe that's how it's going to be now. You know what I mean?
But I think like one of the solutions, I don't know, I don't have all the solutions because what the fuck do I know? Basically is you need to be upfront and you need to be blunt about it. You got to make sure that she sees your intentions and you see her intentions. Like you have to make it clear from the get-go. Like you don't want, like, in order to not play these games, you can't just linger and have like, you can't just have like a day-to-day conversation like you're at the office or something. You have to make sure that
you gotta spice it up a bit.
Exactly, spice it up a bit.
Yeah.
And
see, but that's so fucking difficult personally for me, that's difficult over
like Snapchat.
Over Snapchat or texting. But it's like, it doesn't help me because when I'm interested in a girl, Like, I become super fucking socially awkward for no reason around them.
Oh yeah, same.
Like it literally it's night and day difference between the type of person I am when I'm communicating with someone I'm attracted to and like into, and then like when I'm communicating with a group of friends or a group of girls who I'm not interested in any of them, I'm just having a good time. It's like I'm a totally different person. I become so like fucking like, oh yeah. Huh?
I mean, like if you're like with a girl, like you'll eventually get used to that, and it'll be a lot easier. But like
Eventually,
at first it sucks.
I mean, but it's like it's really easy to like. It's really easy for someone to lose interest that way. You know what I mean? Because like they're not even seeing your personality, so it's like you're just kind of like, well, I did this. And it's like, okay.
Like it's like having, it's like, you know, like NASCAR. Everyone knows NASCAR, right? It's like being in second gear when you know you have 6 more gears to unleash. It's like or being on 4,000 RPM. What's that? Ford versus Ferrari. Great movie. The guy was told he can only go up to like what 4,000, 5,000 RPMs, but then someone told him go for it, go 8 to 9,000, and he did that. And he won the race. So you have to get to a point where you can allow yourself to get to that 9,000 RPM and win the race, because that's the only way. You can't have dry conversations now, or that and lose. You have to be your own self. And also, here's the thing, and this is for both sides. Men and women have to give that opportunity to be yourself. You can't just be dry. Like what's so like? You're, no offense, but you're wasting your time that way. You're not doing yourself a disservice. The other person, I don't know why they want to play these games or why they want to be like this, but like, if they're also like that, you're literally wasting your time. Like, and they're wasting their time. Time is very valuable to all of us. Like, we're going to be older the next day. We're 6 months later, we're going to be a half a year older. Another 6 months later, we're going to be another half year. We're going to be a whole year older. Like, we don't have time for this right now, especially at this age. Like, this age is very important to us. This is where we have to get our careers down. We have to, you know, find that person that we want to be with, and we like, but what I'm trying to say is like, there's nothing wrong with the chase, but girls and guys need to give that opportunity to be yourself. You can't be yourself if that conversation or if the chase is cut dry. And I think that's like the most frustrating part about this whole chasing. You're not yourself. You're literally maybe 1/10 of yourself. You're not giving it all you have.
But it's hard, especially for someone who overthinks. So it's like,
that's true.
There's so many things going through your head at that moment. Like when you're trying to like, okay, so boom, I made it to this point. I'm communicating, but it's like, what do I say next to keep her engaged? Would I do this and would I do that? So then it's like, you don't have time to process that stuff like you normally would. So it's like, the first thing that comes to your head is just dullness. So you can't even be yourself because you're so in your head about avoiding certain things that's going on. Just like, okay, I should probably not say that because that feels like it'd be like I'm not interested, or I probably shouldn't say that because it shows this side of me or it shows that side of me. So then you're like Xing different parts of your personality because you're overthinking so much, and it's like you don't even know how to be yourself in that situation. So it's like it's a very tough thing to overcome.
I think that's a problem of the conversation. Like, if you're not talking about something that you don't like, or there's a mutual connection where you both have that, you know, you like certain things, then it's going to be dry no matter what. Right.
And it's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense, because it'd be a lot easier to not overthink if you have something to, if it's something you deeply like care about, or are you enthusiastic to talk about, then it's easier for you to not to overthink, because those things are revolving around that conversation are going to come easier to you.
Bedtime.
Honestly.
But I think either you need to just talk about something that you like. And if she doesn't like it, then go on to the next thing. If she doesn't like that, go on to the next thing. You need to have at least 5 things that you like to talk about, that you like to do. Like whether it's like wood chopping or like catching butterflies or some if you like plants, just to like research about plants and you want to see this tulip or whatever, something.
Y'all mind if I research this tulip real quick?
Yeah. And if she's interested, it's like, oh my God, I saw that tulip over there. How easy is that? Rather than, oh yeah, I went to the market today and got some oranges. Cool. Who gives a shit? Right? Like that.
I went to the bazaar.
Like that's like especially in like English class in high school, our teacher like explained like, why are you writing this sentence? Like, who gives a shit that you wrote this sentence? And I think that's like the best way to put it. Like you have to, whenever, like, I know like you're overthinking things, but the first thing you should say to yourself is like, who gives a shit? Why who gives a shit if she's with her dog right now? Does anyone really give a shit? No. It's a cute dog, but like, come on, like, I need something that I can at least give my full effort. If you're with your dog, okay, that's fine. But like, do you like to play tennis? Do you like to go to this restaurant? I mean,
or where do you want to travel?
Something like that. What do you know about this country? I heard this country, like they feed you to the dogs if you do this or something like that, right? That's more interesting than like, oh yeah, I went to Loaf and Jugs today and got some gas. Or I don't know how
Loaf and Jug got a donut.
I don't know how dry the conversations are between the girls that we talk to talk to girl.
Oh, they're pretty fucking dry.
Exactly. So like, you need to talk about something that you like, because they're not going to give you any bones after that, because trust me, they don't. So you have to give yourself a bone and, talk about it. Show your interest. I mean, like, if you show your interest, your personality will come out. You can make jokes about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can, you can, and here's the thing.
And I agree with everything you're saying, but it's nearly impossible to do that over, like, especially over Snapchat, but it's a little easier over text message to like talk about your interest.
I personally don't think so, because you can talk about your interest whenever you want.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of
you can interject the conversation,
but I'm saying, like,
to where you can talk about your
in a
interest.
sense of, a lot of your personality is based on your mannerisms, it's based on your facial expressions, it's based on like how you're moving your arms, or how your eyes light up when you talk about this, or how like you giggle when you hear this side of, you like border collies? Oh, me too. And it's like that expression on your face, that's a lot of your personality, So it's like a lot of the mannerisms and a lot of the nonverbal like body language is lost over like text messaging or Snapchat. So it's like that becomes even harder for you to do,
Well, that is fair to say, but I feel like, especially now, you have to make that connection, especially like one of your favorite things. Or I think that's very easy to do over Snap and text. That way you can at least know that you like to do whatever, and then you can spend time doing that or whatever.
So like, elaborate on that. So it's like, make the connection
on Snap or text,
and then when you actually do meet up in person, you have something to talk about.
You have something to talk about, you have something to do, then you can, on that date, you can even make new connections on things you like. And she can even throw you a bone and be like, oh yeah, do you like this? And you can be like, I mean, not so really, but do you like this or whatever? I mean, that's the point of like human connection at the end of the day.
What do you think, Will?
Like, I'm personally a guy who likes to talk about like traveling and like geopolitics and shit. Not many people are like terribly into that. Like, I want to fucking go to the beaches of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like that shit like sounds really good. And like watching all these like travel like videos on YouTube that like, I want to travel to like a bunch of places. I want to go to Afghanistan, smoke hash. Like, doesn't that sound like a fucking hell of a story that you would be able to tell?
Right.
Like, I went to Afghanistan and smoked hash with some dudes.
And I like that you said that, because you never want to compromise what you like.
Exactly.
Because then at that point, you really are losing your personality. So
Like,
it's like,
I think, especially in this day and age, we are losing. Like especially in like relationships, like we're losing ourselves because we're not who we are. It's because sometimes you have to let go of things that the other person doesn't want. But
Or that you even think the other person doesn't want.
exactly. So if you like gaming and she's like, I don't like gaming, then why is she with you, bro?
Yeah, I'm not.
Or even
I'm not a gamer. Not gonna lie.
or vice versa. For me, if she doesn't like tennis, like okay, that's fine. But do you like, do you want to play badminton with me? No. Okay, well that's something else off. Do you like house hunting? You can only do that a little bit, right? That's not really that much of a thing.
Honestly,
do you like dogs? Like
house hunting's kind of lit though.
yeah, but like you can only do that so many times.
That's true.
Like unless if you have a private jet and that can go house hunting anywhere, then like that's something. But like she has to bring something to the table too. Like she it can't like it just you need to find the interest, and if there's no interest, then the chase doesn't have to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Unless if you really just want to do the ting, but
I mean,
that's pretty much it. But men or women should not waste their time.
Yeah.
And I don't know why maybe there's a reason why girls do this, but also the algorithm is kind of flawed because the guy's most likely not able to say their interests or form the connection that they want. Maybe they have a little connection, but it's not like anything I can
go anywhere.
Yeah, go anywhere with. And that's why the chase, sometimes the chase is nice, but at the same time, if the
chase is like extremely exhausting, like especially if it's going nowhere fast.
It's exhausting if you can't make a connection. And I'm talking about a connection that you want to make a connection with. Mm-hmm. Just because she shops at natural groceries and you also shop in natural groceries doesn't mean that's that big of a connection where it can last. You have to make a connection that can last, like traveling. Oh, I want to go here. Oh, same. I want to go here. Okay, like let's just say you're in a career where you can go some places.
Definitely, it's like
you like basketball. I like basketball.
It's better when there's interests that have broad things to explore.
A long-term interest,
right? So we're traveling. There's 200 and how many countries are there? 293, something like that.
I thought it was 196, but
there's like 192 in the UN. There's like you could say there's like 206.
Yeah, I thought it was like I know it was over 200, but I can't remember.
Like independence movements and shit.
There's 206 bones in the body.
But it's like 206 things to talk about, and it's like in basketball, there's 30 teams.
Yeah, exactly. What's your favorite team
in football? There's like, what's your team? Like, oh, what do you think about this player?
What do you think about the draft? It's so easy. Yeah, right. Humor, it's very easy on the paper, but the problem is you have to make sure that you can implement the algorithm.
Because it's a totally different ball game when you're in person because it's so hard to like just get in that mindset. Like,
and also like, I know this is kind of weird, I would say, but I know a lot of people, guys and girls, we want to kind of go the old fashioned, one guy, one girl. We're talking to one guy and one girl, and we want to. So there's so many connections that you can make, and there's so many sub connections that you can make from those connections. The problem is, and this is I have to always say this is for both sides. Like we need to give the other person at least something, or you can also give yourself something. Like make sure that they actually fit the criteria that you want. Like you have to, like, you can't just, like, we ourselves being the chaser are not even giving them a fair shot because we are not really dictating anything. The chasee should not be dictating the conversation. The chaser should get to know them, right? Because they also have that power to figure out, oh, is this the right person for them? Like in The Bachelorette this year, Serena P, she didn't want to be with Matt because
she knew he wasn't the right person.
Exactly.
And then at the end of the season, he ended up with Rachel, and then it's just like, she didn't appreciate my blackness enough. I thought that was so weird, but it is what it is.
But what I'm saying is like, she didn't fit his criteria, and she was the chaser. So you obviously have the power too. Like you shouldn't give a fuck if she's that hot or if he's that hot.
I think it's also very important that, because I agree with what you're saying, but it's like it's very important that you have to understand what you do want and what you do expect from someone that you're interested in, you know? Because it's like with Serena P, for example, she didn't feel that connection. She didn't feel like Matt was her person because there was just something that just wasn't clicking in her mind. So we may never know what that is, but
Well, I think I actually knew what that was because like he was he's a very touchy person in general, and she's not like that. Like I know, I'm that kind of person.
It was a yoga date. That was weird.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was a yoga
She
one.
found that really weird. I'm just like, this is not gonna go where I think it is.
Yeah,
It's
like it ain't
like
it. This ain't it.
like this is not going well. Like from an outside perspective, you could see that things like that would not go well. But like, I'm sure that if you were Matt, you would be completely oblivious to it. I know I would.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the moment, it just doesn't click in your head that, oh, this person's not having a good time.
yeah. And we could say all this, but it's like if you're awkward, you know.
Yeah.
So
we can go off to another topic.
No, that's what I'm doing. So you gotta let me transition, man.
So
Come on,
so
man.
I love the EDP 445
No, dude,
situation.
So you know, you have friends, right? And then some of those friends you fall out with. And so when you live in a relatively small city like Grand Forks, you're gonna run into these people that you don't talk to anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at Joe Black's, right?
I'm not sure how that was a transition.
Well, actually, it started off. Well,
Yeah, work on
I ruined it. It started off at the Loft.
Well, we can edit it out.
Yeah, no, I was joking. But come on, man, keep going. We're on film here. All right, so I'm at the Loft with my friend Corey. We just got downtown, and you know, we're talking, and then so I see this person that I don't talk to anymore, and you know, it's like a mutual thing that we don't talk anymore. And she's out with some of her friends, and some of her friends happen to be some of my mutual friends as well, or mutual connections, we'll say. So. Like not known to me that Corey was also friends with some of these mutual friends as well. The guy who I went downtown with. So one of these individuals passed us. And so at this point, I'm like trying to gauge out what's going on at the Loft. I'm not drunk yet. So I'm like, okay, I got to get a drink. I got to find the person that I was looking for because I was looking for someone when I went to the Loft. And so like there's this all this shit running through my head. So then I see this mutual friend or this mutual connection with the person that I don't talk to anymore. And she's like, and so like we make eye contact for like a split second and then we turn our heads away. And I was like, fuck, that was awkward. And so I was like, okay, thank God it's over. So then I walk past her and then Corey behind me like, hey, how you doing? So then literally I'm standing in the fucking corner of the bar like, fuck. This is gonna be so fucking awkward. So I'm just sitting there as they're talking and they're just chopping it up. Yada, 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 yada. So I'm like, first of all, this shit was so fucking awkward. And now I'm even more awkward because I'm sitting here in a fucking like corner like a fucking 6-year-old who just got put in timeout. So then I'm like, boom, okay, they're done. Moving on. So we go to Joe Black's. We run into the same fucking person. I'm still awkward. Don't look at her. She has another conversation with Corey. So I'm sitting here in the fucking Joe Black's now in the middle of the walkway, just sitting there with my fucking dick in my hand. And so literally she leans over to me. She's like, hey, don't be so fucking awkward. And then doesn't even look at me and just walks away. So after my jaw left the ground for a split second at the absolute audacity of this woman.
Get fucked, dude. Get fucked.
If anyone knows how to make memes, make a meme about this.
So after my jaw got off the ground from the audacity, literally all I could do was laugh because I was like, you know what? She taught me a very valuable lesson, right?
Not being awkward, fuck.
That, but also to like, you know, even though she was a mutual connection, like that whole situation should have like operated, you know, independently from my situation with this other person, you know? So it's like, I shouldn't have to I shouldn't have to like feel like I have to be like, oh, should I talk to her because she knows she's good friends with the person I fell out with, or it's like, do I or do I not? So it's like that's another socially awkward scenario that I put myself in. So yeah, so the absolute gall of this woman for and she said it so casually. I was thinking she was about to say something like, meaningful, and she was just like, don't be so fucking awkward. Didn't even look at me and just walked away. I was like, you know what? Respect.
The real question is, was she interested?
Who?
The girl.
No.
God, shut up with this interested bullshit.
I know that's the problem. But anyway, great.
Fucking sound like my parents.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense now because you know her very well. So why wouldn't you go talk to her?
I know, that's the problem.
See, now that we have like, now we actually have some concrete
typical
information.
But it's like, even though I do know her, it's like.
But I think I know why you were awkward.
Yeah, it's just like, what do you do in that situation, So it was a fucked situation, bro.
I mean, I feel like your personality probably should have came out and retaliated and be like, no.
Well, one, I didn't get a chance to, but two, my jaw was on the ground for a hot ass minute before I picked it up and just laughed because I had nothing else to do. Because it was that funny to me that she would call me out like that because I didn't, that was just good.
I mean, you could have retaliated and been like, damn, you didn't say hi to me either. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
I'm awkward? Really? Oh, you didn't even look at me. Nice. Real nice.
I mean,
just ask her.
It was a very extremely awkward situation. But
I can't with you.
But yeah, no, man. How do y'all feel about like awkward situations like that? Like, how often does shit like that happen to you?
Well,
where you run into a person and you're just so fucking like.
Usually, when I run into a girl that I've seen in the past, I usually end up making out with her.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's moves. Jesus.
I don't
power moves.
Okay, if like
I think I read the room.
If there was like something that was there, well, like if it was just a girl as a friend, obviously I'm not gonna make out with her. But like if I'm drunk enough and it's a girl I've made out with before, well,
I'm gonna say one thing. Mm-hmm. Alcohol does not help me. It makes me more awkward. It makes me more in the timeout space.
If I had been drunk at that point in time, I don't know what I would have said, but I definitely wouldn't have just been like.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. Anything he would have said after when he opened his mouth, I would have said cap. I would have been like, nah.
I would have said something, but I was just like, it was a fucking situation. But moving on.
But
yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, I know what it's. Well,
I mean, it was pretty funny actually.
As an awkward person, especially, so we had a wedding get to cater. Was it last weekend? It was last weekend.
It was last weekend. Too bad I couldn't show up. I was pretty sad. Oh, I heard that Turner walked in on a couple doing in the bathroom at 1 p.m.
I mean, it makes sense.
It was 1 p.m., not 1 a.m.
I mean, I'm going to be, okay, you know what, we'll save it for the unfiltered version.
Fair enough.
I was going to say, so I was talking to one of our female coworkers. Mm-hmm. We're just talking, bantering, just like normal people. When we're all, I guess, close in conversation. I asked her, so what do you think of me? Like, what do you think of like my demeanor and all that stuff? Like, how am I doing here? He's like, you're very awkward.
True.
Like you for some reason, like, not for some reason, but you're just an awkward person. Like, I was like, I was kind of like, I was low-key a little offended, but like literally a minute later, I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Cause like, our Caleb, our special guest from the last episode, he's not an awkward person. He can talk to whomever about whatever he wants, and he can form that connection and whatever. I'm just kind of doing me, which is kind of weird. Where I'm not really talking to anyone. I'll try to talk to someone, but it's kind of like the dry personality that comes out. So I understand how that feels, and that's just the barrier that you just have to get through. If there's other instances like, body language, in a conversation, are you behind the person or are you right in the conversation, but you don't really need to say anything so that you don't look up here to be awkward. So there's a lot of things that you could obviously work on, and you know, if you don't really have much to say, then make sure that your body language is there. Make sure that you know you assert yourself.
Right. And it's like if you feel like you don't have things that interest you, or like that
But don't be a creep about it.
you can't find so many talking points. It's like before you even attempt to engage with someone, make sure you know what you like. You know what you want to talk about, and you know what's gonna get you the most engaged. Because at that point, that's when you're really gonna like thrive in making these relationships, whether that be platonic or whether that be
even on like a friend-to-friend basis.
level.
Like we're talking about acquaintance to like good friend basis. Like you need to talk about something in a more positive manner, not like in a more monotone kind of manner. If you're talking in a monotone manner, you're gonna come out as awkward. Like you need to like put yourself out there. You gotta like smile more. I mean, for me, smiling is kind of hard because like I kind of have to force it. But I smile whenever I'm talking about something that I feel like is meaningful or like I really like. And also like I said, especially we're talking about chasing and all this stuff too, like you just have to be yourself. I know it's very cheesy, but once you really think about it, being yourself is your most optimal self. It's your best self.
Mm-hmm.
It's your best version of yourself. That's what I should say.
Unless you're like the weeaboo kids that are just like, I'm angry at you. You know what I'm talking about.
Fuck, Will?
You haven't seen those TikToks?
I'm just gonna pretend like you didn't. Just
like they're just like, I'm angry at you.
Words, bro.
If you want me to stop being angry, you have to give me like some cuddles and kisses.
See, this is where my awkward personality would come on and be like, what are you doing, bro?
Bro.
Or like I'd probably stay silent in timeout.
If you're like that kind of like weeaboo band kid, even though I was a band kid, but it doesn't matter.
I was a band kid too.
Yeah.
Very awkward band kid, by the way.
Maybe don't be yourself then, but like for the most part, being yourself is the best.
Yeah, because like you're most comfortable by being yourself. There's nothing more uncomfortable than not
unless
being yourself.
unless you're a furry too.
Okay, that's a different topic for a different day.
I don't think it's a different topic.
Hopefully that day will never come because I have no experience in that. Except in like high school where I have to be in that, like they're there. So.
Oh my God, I have quite a thing to tell you, dudes. So.
Oh God.
My senior year of high school,
if you want to leave the video or at least skip to the next 5 minutes, this would be a good time. So take a bathroom break if you're at it. Anyways.
Or stay because it's kind of funny. So at my high school, it was like pretty normal for the most part, right? And then my senior year, these like kids got together and they made the Pop Pack. I think you can kind of imagine what it is. It's basically the furry club.
Great.
And I remember when this thing was made, one of my friends at the time was trying to like get it banned because like there's this like connotation that like furries are just into like sexual stuff, you know what I mean?
No, they are.
So, a lot of them are, but like apparently most of them aren't. I don't know if I buy that honestly.
That's false.
Yeah, that's definitely false. So like she made like an entire PowerPoint about it to try to like show to like the staff, the administration to like get this shit banned.
Damn.
And it did not get banned.
Freedom of speech.
And like I remember, I don't know which one of my friends like accidentally walked in on one of their meetings. Like they had like a meeting and like a dude walked in. I don't know if they were like delivering something. I don't know. But like they looked like they were ashamed to be there. Dude, like even though it was a space to be themselves, like they still felt ashamed to be themselves because it's a fucking Pop Pack. What'd you expect? Like
that's tough.
The furry, just stop being a furry. Like it's not that hard. Like watch anime. I don't care if you watch anime, just don't Naruto run in the halls.
No, man, Naruto running is fun.
It is.
Not in like the
Usain
whole-
Bolt does it over the finish line all the time.
Bro, I've watched Naruto over like 3 times.
Bro, there's like
literally like not even kidding.
I gotta watch Naruto, but like you have to do it in like the right context. You know what I mean? Like you can't just like fucking do it randomly and then expect everyone to be like, oh, bro, he's trying to get to class. Like no one fucking no one no one thinks that. They're just like, what the fuck is this kid doing?
I mean,
Like that's what they think.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but the problem is like there's a difference between like furries and like weird people. Like I know plenty of people that do the Naruto run. Obviously not like as much as them, but outside of class, like they're doing the Naruto run, they're just goofing off or whatever. But furries, like they wear like weird ass makeup or like they have like those like kitten things and like they wear those costumes and stuff.
Or
see, that's being yourself, but at the same time we're not no offense, but our target audience is not furries.
Yeah, like bro.
No offense to furries.
I've so like for the thing I'm about to say, if you do not like adult content, I'm going to say
hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there.
or if you don't like uncomfortable content,
okay, there we go.
You can like skip like a minute ahead; it'll be fine. So
well, overall, you skipped ahead, to be quite honest.
Probably. If you haven't skipped ahead already,
please like and subscribe.
So like I once saw like this thing online where it was like a tail. You know how like furries have like tails that like they attach to like the pants or whatever?
Yes.
I've seen ones that are like butt plugs, dude.
Great.
That shit is whack as fuck.
Shit exists, man.
That shit does exist.
Why are you kinky motherfuckers up? Jesus.
This is why we think y'all do sexual shit, because of stuff like that.
This has been the most intriguing podcast. We went from awkwardness to like we need some Jesus.
Furry butt plugs.
Where's the holy water at?
Or like I've seen like some fucking weird shit where like couples like one person's like the master and the other person's like the dog.
Okay.
I imagine they use it in that
okay.
scenario.
Fam, we're getting off topic. Like we get it. People like to do shit, but we're talking in the generalization of like outside in public, not like whatever in their safe space.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But like at the same time, this is still kind of weird. Even if you're in your safe space.
I mean, people can do their thing. I don't care, right? I mean, I'm not gonna be there, so
yeah. As long as I'm not there, I'll be fine with it. Honestly. Don't bring that shit to like a convention or something.
Yeah, conventions for it, but you know what? Well, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
we're just generalizing the population that that are going to Joe Black.
I thought it'd be an interesting.
It was very interesting. It was very interesting. That's for sure.
It definitely keep people watching. That's for sure.
Or I can see like our analytics, like it went from like this to like we're doing well, right? And then furries, ching, and now we have no one.
Yeah.
But that was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to talk about? I guess we're like, okay, I don't think I finished did I finish my story? So anyways, so one of our coworkers told me that I was very awkward, and I definitely am. And then I guess like once she kind of like told me that I stopped being less awkward. I mean, I stopped being less awkward. I was less awkward. I would say I was kind of like being myself at that point, and then I think she kind of gave me the same energy back. Because like I feel like if I give my energy, I feel like I get the energy back usually.
Yeah.
That's also a very big thing in us humans. Even like dogs. If dogs give like when your dog comes home or whatever, and like is like very like happy for you to come home, your mood changes so easily. So whenever you're around people, obviously it's very draining. Like I'm a very introverted person, so like whenever I'm out in public, I'm just drained from the start. It's just not where I can thrive. But at the same time, you have to bring in that energy or somehow get that energy up, whether it's like caffeine or something like that. Like something needs to come out. And also what we talked about earlier in the podcast, be yourself. Like if you want to approach this girl or like if you want to have fun, make sure you're around people that know you, make sure they can get you to a non-awkward place. Make sure that like, instead of like approaching a girl or approaching a guy with like, hey, what's up and all that stuff, make sure that the goal is make sure you know that they like this anime or like they like monster trucks or something, or they like basketball, and make sure you can have a good conversation rather than the basic conversation and what girls hear all the time. Hey, what's your major? So what do you think about the bar or whatever? That's so dry. Like if a
What do
girl
you think about Joe Blacks?
like honestly, like if a girl approached you like that, like you're gonna more likely be like, yo, she's basic. She's kind of weird. Not weird, but like your mind's gonna go to that.
Yeah.
It's like that energy is not right. So if you're like, oh my god, I made this thing with my 3D printer, if she doesn't want to hear that, then obviously piss off. I want a girl that can appreciate that a little bit, right? Like you have to bring in and that's the energy I feel like people are just missing these days. And going back to your talk with old girl here,
old gal.
or whoever girls, or if you want to narrow the girls down, talk about your interests. If they don't like this thing that's very important to you, why is she there? Unless you want to do the thing, why is she there, right?
Precisely.
If you want to be friends and you want to know an opinion, okay, that's fine. But like, she has to. If you're looking for someone that's significant to you, fam, you need to be yourself. Otherwise, like, it's not going to be good. We can go on to. I guess I can go on more. Like in arranged marriage, I'm not married anyways, or arranged married or whatever.
You're going to be.
No.
Thank God. I'll praise baby Jesus.
The problem with the whole ordeal is like every interaction, because I've been through, like, not me personally, but I've seen the process happen before my eyes. And no offense, but like people are so basic. It's so cringe. Like, fam, talk about something that you like. The problem is, no offense, but like not a lot of people have those interests, and not a lot of people can appreciate someone else's interests or your interest, or no one can appreciate your interests. And like I get that it's very successful and all, like, I mean, you'll get, but at the same time, like, arranged marriages, the only reason why they last because like family pressure and all that. But at the same time, like, the only way for something strong to last is if you have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
It could be activities or whatever. I'm being redundant, but I'm trying to say you have to be yourself. Or if you want to go up to like a baddie with like 500K followers and she's smart and whatever, you don't have to level up a bit. But at the same time, your personality should dictate everything. Looks can go so long. Looks can get you through the door, obviously, for both of you. But like, your personality has to shine once you get through the door.
And if it doesn't,
then you're gonna have a cold house.
You're gonna throw with the fishes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're gonna be
that simple.
You're gonna be knocked out, like how every girl in The Bachelor or Bachelorette or whatever are. You get thrown out because
it happens.
And also, there's another aspect of facing that rejection. Are we prolonging this awkwardness so I don't have to face rejection?
Okay, that's an interesting argument.
Yeah, that is.
Right?
I mean, I'd rather have rejection than fucking be awkward for a while.
I think I would be the opposite, because it's like rejection is daunting,
Rejection is a no.
I don't give a fuck about rejection.
Right,
Like,
but
if I'm wasting my time, then who cares?
Rejection should be so simple in nature, right? Because it's like, okay, I've expressed my interest, she didn't reciprocate those interests. That's the end of that, right? But it's like, okay, I've shown my interest. It's like, okay, well, maybe this is why she's not doing this, or maybe this is why she's not showing me her interest. So you start making excuses, you know, like, oh, maybe this is why, maybe that's why. And that's when you know, you're like, oh shit, like, I'm just scared of rejection. It's like, rejection is daunting.
Also, there's another aspect of knowing who you are and what you want.
Yeah, so that's the very big first step, because it's like you will never be able to accept rejection if you don't establish what you really want to be important to you.
Exactly.
You know.
And like, I get that relationships or connections, this can be a friend basis, this could be family or whatever, relationships or marriage or whatever. You have to make some sacrifice. Some of the things you might have to let go.
Mm.
That's just fact. Like sometimes but at the same time, you shouldn't. They should understand that, and they should, take that in. Some like the negative things, obviously, mental health and all that stuff. If you have depression, generally, I would say most people would want to help you through that, but at the same time, like, no offense, but if I'm giving you this much energy and you're giving me the same old, like, I'm depressed or whatever, the majority of the time, guys or girls, they probably don't want to put in that same energy anymore, because it is exhausting. And we can take another step. We can say, like, we could even generalize it to where, like, if you're not putting in the same energy, meaning, like, if you're not yourself, right, and the other person is not really giving you that much time or whatever, you're out the door. Even if I'm the chaser, you're out the door. I don't care. I will disqualify myself so that I can enter another race, which I'm happy to do. And like Will said, like, he doesn't care if he's disqualified. He would gladly disqualify himself, because is this a race that I want to even win?
Exactly.
Do I want to be with Matt James, or do I want to be with what's the next bachelor? What's his name?
Katie.
Katie. Do I even want to be Katie's future husband or whatever?
Yeah.
But she ain't the one if she doesn't like anime. If she doesn't like Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra, we can't talk about it. I'm sorry, but you're out. If you don't like sports, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. That's a big part of my life. I want someone that I can form that connection. I want, like, come on, who wouldn't want that, right?
I mean, I'm not a huge sports guy, but like,
You're out.
damn,
Leave.
I'll see myself afterwards.
No, it's some next level shit, man. Next level shit.
I need to stand up though.
I think we talked about some good shit. This was a very good podcast to get some consistency back in our lives.
Also, I would say this is a conversation that I feel like everyone needs to hear, because this is deeply rooted in our society where, especially after getting the Snapchat or the girl's number, text or email or whatever how you want to do it, forming connections is very important. You can't be cut and dry. And no offense, but to men and women and whoever you are, you have to give that person a chance. You can't just
Fuck that, I'll go.
You can't just make anyone read. No, we're doing a podcast. You can't just have people try to read your minds or whatever. It's best if you want to make connections. Do you actually want to make connections, or are you here to just fuck around? And if you're here to fuck around, then don't waste my time. Don't waste anyone else's time.
If you are, or if it's something else you want, I feel like you should attempt to make that more clear.
Yeah.
Right?
No, because, like, you're wasting time, as any parent would say. You're wasting my time, you're wasting my money, you're wasting my energy, something I preciously need.
I would be curious to see if other generations went through something similar to what we're going through.
Probably.
Probably. Generation
And maybe
Alpha.
it's just like a maturity thing, or it's like a teen thing, or it's like a young adult thing, you know?
But the thing is, like, for older generations, like, once you have it, then it's like, why are you guys doing it like this? When you can just do it like this and it works.
I think Generation Alpha is fucked.
What?
The one after us.
Yeah, that's the one after.
Oh, yeah,
Gen Z.
100%. You probably need a little, I don't know, but it'll probably be
Yeah,
worse.
they're fucked. But yeah, okay. We talked about some good things.
I think this kind of helped us out a little bit too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like how we discussed everything, being awkward, like, making connection. And you know how I think I said, like, this has to be over. You have to get the girls or guys snap or whatever, how you make your friendship. This can even be before that, where when you're approaching women, you have to make a connection that means something to you so that you don't have to be awkward. If we're talking about just the awkward part, you have to, if you want to make it less awkward, you should be in your zone by making that connection. And if you didn't want that connection, fine, go somewhere else. No offense, but you may be cool, but at the same time, it's not to my criteria. People say people are picky, but at the same time, like, I'll be my best if I
In a lot
find
of
someone
ways,
that's your
we're
best.
really not that picky.
No, we're just trying to find our interest.
Just know what you like. Know what you like and know how to express that. Because that's the biggest thing you can take away from this. Know what you like and know how to express that, and then it's going to help your relationships in all aspects of your life.
Exactly. Like,
whether that be schooling, whether that be friendships, whether that be lovers.
The reason why we're all bros and whatever is because we accepted something that we have our own weirdness, and we accepted that weirdness, and we're able to, like, joke about it, or we're able to shit on them about it, and it's just banter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I've accepted that Will is white. It's pretty tough to sack.
I've accepted that Mill's black. Like,
I've accepted that you're from Pakistan.
I'm
really
not, I'm
hard.
not from Pakistan, but
It's really hard to take it.
But
All right.
like, that's what we have to try to do as human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah, so it's definitely an important conversation to have, without a doubt.
Yeah, and
Without a doubt.
I'm glad that we actually got to this conversation.
Yep. All right. I'm Midas Mill.
I'm sorry.
I'm Willie P.
All right. That's all for the Next Question Please podcast. Peace.